Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people tuning in around the whole wide world. Thank you for tuning in again. This is a special production brought to you this week on the Water Relief live stream. Alhamdulillah, yesterday we were talking to the people from Feeling Blessed, and we actually talked to one of our sisters in the Jordan office, Sister Olivia, talking about Muslim women or just women working in relief and development. It was a really great conversation. This week being the anniversary of the crisis in Syria, we wanted to focus some of our programming and our discussions today on what Islamic Relief is doing to support the Syrian people, the refugees that are in the surrounding areas. We're going to talk, particularly this week, we'll be talking about what's happening in Jordan. What do those projects look like? What is the office doing to support people who have come and made it into Jordan from Syria, and what is the outlook, inshallah, for the Ramadan programming? This is the Water Relief live stream. Let's go. Assalamu alaikum once again. If you're just tuning in, this is the Water Relief live stream, and we're talking to Islamic Relief Jordan's office to learn more about how they are supporting our brothers and sisters from Syria who've made it there as refugees. So without further ado, let's bring on the Jordan office. Let me see if I can get them on with us. Here we go. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Hello,
Brother Osama, how are you doing?
Alhamdulillah. Thank you for asking. How are you?
Good, alhamdulillah, and thank you for joining us. I know with the time change, it's about 8:30 there or so.
Yeah, 7:30 actually.
7:30. Okay, so just maybe a few hours after work for you. But what I tell people for Islamic Relief, I said this Islamic Relief not a job; it's a lifestyle because
Exactly.
it was with you the morning, the evening. You plan your vacation on, are they gonna need me? So alhamdulillah, we thank you for being with us.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you for that.
Can
Thank you.
you introduce yourself to our audience and tell them a little bit about yourself, inshallah?
Inshallah. Thank you for this opportunity, actually, and thank you for the brothers and sisters that are watching. My name is Osama Al Fasfous. I'm the head of the program with the Islamic Relief Jordan office. I joined late in 2020. Previously, I was working in Iraq, in Syria, cross border from Gaziantep and Jordan. Since then, the late 2020, I joined as a head of program, as I said, working with a lot of champions, brothers and sisters in Jordan office, delivering great efforts and intervention assistance to the both Jordanian and non-Jordanian residents in Jordan.
Excellent. Excellent,
Yes,
excellent. You almost gave us your whole bio, and I appreciate that. You know what I didn't do? I apologize because if I don't do this, Sister Olivia should probably tease you. They didn't welcome you the way we usually welcome people with a little bit of applause. So thank you
thank
for
you,
being with us. Alhamdulillah.
thank you.
So can you tell us a little bit about the Jordan office? Like what how many about how many staff and how many offices around the region that you guys have there?
Sure. Our main office is in the capital of Amman. We also have field offices. We have an office in Al Mafraq city. We have an office in Al Ramla city. We have another office in the south in Al Karak city. And as I said, our main office is in Amman. Generally speaking, we are almost around 80 staff members scattered all over the field offices. In addition to our mobile teams who kick off on daily basis from the main office to the north, two teams, and one in the south to the southern governorates.
Excellent, excellent.
Yes.
Good, keep going. Good, please. I was just
No, no. Just to highlight that the main office is the main hub that different colleagues, brothers and sisters, travel on daily basis for different areas in the north, to the desert, to the south, from the southern office in Al Karak, for also far governorates, Ma'an, Tafila, and other areas, even in the Jordan Valley.
Excellent, excellent. I visited Jordan years ago, but not. I didn't visit with Islamic Relief. But I've been to Amman. I've been to. I'm trying to find this. The city.
To the north,
I went. I went
Mafraq,
to. I went to the south. I went to the south. I went to. What is it with all the cave dwellings and these things? What is this?
yes, Petra,
Petra. I went to Petra.
Petra.
I visited and even some cities in the south as well. And alhamdulillah, but I have to come visit you guys myself in the
Most
official
welcome.
Islamic Relief visit, inshallah. So,
خلاص,
question for.
that's a promise.
So, what are the general? If we're going to talk about
Yes.
a little bit about the Syrian, the work that we're doing with Syrian refugees, but generally, what are the types of projects that we just generally do with the Jordan office?
Sure. Allow me just to clarify a couple of background on
Hmm.
our projects. We have a set of projects that goes and classified under several pillars.
Hmm.
The first pillar is the one I'm sure that our sister Olivia, in the other session previously, have talked about. She's the team leader for the sponsorship, one-to-one sponsorship, which is basically the orphans' welfare. So that's the first pillar. First pillar. The second pillar is the health pillar. We will provide access to provision of access to primary health, secondary health, raising awareness about health related issues, in addition to dialysis coverage for a certain number of Syrian refugees. Of course, it's a life saving intervention. The
Excellent.
third pillar is the livelihoods, where we provide access to employability skills, vocational training, entrepreneurship, and business development skills, supported by financial support so that they can kick off their startup businesses
Oh,
and move
excellent.
as part of the mentoring and the both technical and financial support, so they can generate access to, let's say, expand and maybe promote their existing businesses, home-based businesses. Of course, that's the third pillar. The fourth pillar we call the community development. It's a variety of projects that goes between the education, access to education, remedial classes, infrastructure rehabilitation for schools, learning environments, distribution of school bags, stationaries for the kids, of course,
Amazing.
so that they can enroll to the schools as well in the back to school campaigns. Remedial classes also, we have a wonderful team of teachers. They provide online virtual remedial classes.
Nice.
A lot of them received even tablets so that they can access the sessions. And now we are in the process to develop a learning management system, so they upload the sessions for the kids and they can use to the tablets, inshallah, to the software. So inshallah, I think by the mid of this year we will be finalizing the learning management system. And we have also additional elements, which is the shelter rehabilitation. We are working with Palestinian refugees in Gaza camp, the one of the most underprivileged group in Jordan. Most, like 85% of the camp are coming from Gaza refugees, basically, and they are the most underprivileged group in Jordan. As I said, we also provide additional cash for rent, psychosocial protection-based activities,
Amazing.
raising awareness about GBV, domestic violence, safeguarding, child protection sessions, and of course, the final and most important, I would say, in this period is the fifth pillar, which is the seasonal pillar. The seasonal pillar, it's a combination between the winterization
Okay.
assistance, which addresses the basic needs for the people in the winterization, access to blankets, of course, cash assistance to cover their needs in the cold, harsh weather in Jordan. In addition, we have also the Ramadan campaign that will be happening
Yeah.
soon,
And
inshallah.
we'll be talking about Ramadan and quite shortly, and then I guess like
Inshallah.
Qurbani and as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
and inshallah. And also we have the Eid gifts distribution between Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha.
Okay.
We have also the traditional marvelous, I would say, Qurbani campaign, inshallah, in Eid al-Adha.
Right.
So in a nutshell, these are the five pillars that we, as a country office, we work in and focusing currently on. But we also build and capitalize our partnerships with existing INGOs, UN agencies, as well as local partners, stakeholders from different entities, in addition to the local authorities, actually.
Amazing.
So a wide variety of an audience and stakeholders.
No, definitely, and I really appreciate that. I know people who visited the Jordan office have had nothing but high regard for everything that you guys do there. As you said, a really wide variety of programs and projects that you guys are supporting, and we're really proud of the work that you guys are doing. And thank you for the time taken out to talk about them today. If we were to zero in, like I said before, this week we're talking about the work that was happening in Syria, not in Syria, but the supporting of Syrian refugees. We know the crisis has continued on, and the support is needed as much as it was needed since the beginning. Can you talk a little bit about maybe the projects that you guys are doing that are specifically focused on making life better for those refugees who have made it into Jordan?
Sure. Thank you, brother, again. As you know, that since the Syrian crisis in 2011 onwards, the Jordan has been hosting more than 1.3 million of Syrian refugees in Jordan. The vast majority of them are living in the host communities, almost 80%, with the minimum in the Azraq and Zaatari camps. So the vast majority are living in the host communities. The host communities actually entails a lot of difficulties, barriers in terms of access to basic needs, to employ, so to income generating opportunities, even difficulties to cover the rent cost, the health cost. I'm not sure if you are aware of that. The Syrian refugees are eligible in the last couple of years to access the health services, the governmental health services, but as financially capable Jordanian.
Mm.
So they are not insured, so they have to pay a certain amount for that. And of course, that can be an issue for those who cannot even generate an income at all, even if not as a Jordanian
Um,
and a Syrian. So that's one part of the difficulties, the daily barriers that they face. Alhamdulillah, since the as I said in the onset, we as an country office we have been leading on several initiatives. We were also working with the WFP for a couple of years on food vouchers in Jordan,
mm,
but we continue afterwards with the great support of our colleagues, our brothers and sisters from the country offices, to support the Syrian refugees community in Jordan, as I said, in the host community.
mhm.
So, type of projects we provide access to health. So, just to
And,
clarify,
and,
70%.
and real quick, because you mentioned food vouchers, what did the food vouchers do for the people? Just so people who might not know.
Sure. Previously with the WFP, the people used to receive the food passes as an exchange of vouchers. So there was an amount it's decided per the person per family. But that already faded out and phased
Okay.
out, and now currently WFP is using a more, I would say, dignified tool, which is through the blockchain technology, and people are transfer the funds per the family member to their account, so they can use the cash to procure their and address their basic needs.
Wow.
In Islamic Relief, we also have a couple of modalities. Actually, we have the NFIs and food items. So,
Mhm.
2021, we distributed gas heaters, blankets, another winterization kits, but that's for a small portion. That was, I think, it was around 300 plus families, but the vast majority of our winterization back then was for almost 4,300, as I said,
Mhm.
for cash distributions. It's much more, dignified approach. It
Right.
gives them the refugees and the host communities the option to select and address their needs, and to feel the generous support and the greatness
Right.
of choosing the dignified and
Exactly.
human-based manner. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
So basically, the projects actually varies between access to education, access to health, which is, I think, one of the main barriers for the Syrians. Of course, the access to basic needs, different modalities, as I said,
What? Why
and
is
of
health?
course.
Why is health one of the biggest barriers for them? Why?
Yes, because we in Jordan we have witnessed a lot of INGOs phasing out from the health based sector.
Mm.
We have been in communication with several INGOs. to actually provide services, access to health for chronic disease, NCDs, and other let's say communities populations who have been covered under INGOs who have phased out from the country. And I'm sure if you have maybe a couple of outlets talked about, I think Al Jazeera was talking about should highlight, sorry, highlighting this issue in Jordan. So we have minimum sorry and this actors, health-based actors in Jordan, in addition to the fact that the Syrians, as I told you before, that they have to provide the and to cover equal to Jordanian who financially capable to provide the access to their services. But also, as I said, we not providing only not providing the access to primary health, but also providing the access to secondary, tertiary, basically surgeries for the Syrians. So the 70% of our projects in Jordan are targeting Syrians and 30% for the Jordanians. Of course, that this percentage sometimes differ if for certain projects, but generally
Okay.
speaking, that's the percentage.
Right.
Mostly, we are targeting the Syrians. But also, just to highlight that we also, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, we also target other nationalities. Jordan, unfortunately, hosts more than 57 nationalities of
Oh.
refugees in Jordan. Just to give you some statistics, Jordan hosts as in total around 11 million plus as residents on the in Jordan land, Jordanian land, out of which almost a third are refugees from
Wow.
different from different nationalities, out of which 1.3 are Syrians. The registered Syrians are 670,000. So you can imagine the difficulties that people face in Jordan, both at at the refugees level as well as the host communities as well. So it gets a
Subhanallah.
lot of
I,
yeah.
ca- I
So
didn't I didn't realize I didn't realize that many refugees and it makes sense now because I always remember that they said legally there's a certain amount any project that we do has to support the local community, which makes
yes,
complete sense, but to know that up to one third of the population in the country, so it's
yes,
a big amana for the
yes.
country and for the people, and alhamdulillah we're able to be able to support in this way.
Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, we are providing great support. Just to give you a hint on this one, I think last week we have almost, roughly speaking, just on the numbers we have reached more than 244,000, Alhamdulillah, from different
Alhamdulillah.
projects, Alhamdulillah, seasonal, regular, development, health, in all in total. So
Excellent.
Alhamdulillah, we have been, I would say, we enjoy the heavy boots in terms of the access to support, alhamdulillah, in the
Alhamdulillah.
country.
Excellent. So, can I ask you, as far if there like, I mean, you talked about health being in one of them. Is that the signature project? If you were to think about the one that you're most proud of, the that supports the Syrian refugees, what are like maybe that project you're like when you knew this was being developed and when you were looking for partner offices to support, what is that project that was helping the Syrian community, that you were like, this is the one I'm so proud that we're putting this out and making a difference in lives.
Sure. Allow me to start from
Yeah.
the health component. So, for instance, for IRUSS specifically, they have been supporting the health project for several phases. Actually, for the last phases two, Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, we have been able to reach more than 32,000 across Jordan in more than 121 locations across the country just in 2021. But the 32,000 are the cumulative number across 4 years of support through IRUSA,
Alhamdulillah.
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 And out of which, of course, we have been supporting under the IRUSA fund almost, I think, 800 surgeries. In
Wow.
addition to, yeah. So, and by the way, just for your information, we are talking about a country where the average of salaries is around 400 JOD, which is like 600 US dollar. So the
Wow.
ceiling of these surgeries is very beneficial, helping a lot of families. You can imagine, you do the math, 800 families who we have been, alhamdulillah, had access to surgeries. In addition, as I said, into the access to the primary health. Alhamdulillah, now we are in the phase three funded by RUSA, covering additional more people in the primary health, secondary, as well as dialysis and raising awareness. That's the first element, which is, I said, due to the fact that heavy burden on the governmental health centers makes it very difficult for the centers. Actually, I witnessed a couple of centers in different areas in the country where they don't have medications.
Mm.
Some of them don't have the staff members. So the mobile clinic, as I said, we have three mobile clinics. Two from kick off every day from Amman to the north, one from the south, with two doctors, female doctor and a male doctor, physicians, in addition to pharmacists and two assistants and their drivers. So you can imagine. So we have literally 18 people kick off every day to different areas to the north and the south. As I told you,
Amazing.
last year we have, alhamdulillah, covered more than 121 locations across the country. From Maran to the south, far southern part of Jordan, just next to Aqaba, to the Syrian border.
Aqaba.
And
That's the other city I would visit. I visited Aqaba too.
Aqaba. By the way, they are also visiting a lot of informal tents for the Syrians, which is scattered all over
Okay.
the areas.
Like
But
informal encampments, informal
yeah,
encampments.
exactly, informal camps. But also while they providing that, they integrate a lot of. So they visit these areas. They provide the diagnosis, the medical one with qualified doctors. Provide the free medications, but also for certain cases, if they need to be referred for additional, secondary, tertiary, they will do that. Alhamdulillah.
Amazing.
Of course, that's for the health. Also, the other element, which is also, alhamdulillah, supported by other IR partners, but more specifically with IR USA, is the access to livelihoods. As I told you, we are living in a country, the unemployment rate, according to the governmental figures, is up to 25%, plus minus. That percentage with a small 1% maybe. But according to the World Bank, I think 50% of the youth under 40 are unemployed in Jordan.
Ooh,
So in a
subhanallah.
country that's almost the third are refugees, 50% of its inhabitants are unemployed. By the way, we have high inflation of prices just in the last
Yeah.
couple of weeks, significant enough to affect all the segments in the country. It affects all of it. Some of these increments actually have existed before because of the number of refugees. The less support the country is receiving from external, external support, generally speaking, but also other difficulties. Even Jordan is, I think, the fifth country in the list of countries that do not have enough water resources. So we have a combination of difficulties. But as I said, the access to livelihoods is the second important element, because
Excellent.
it provides with people with access to economic empowerment in the future, income generating opportunities.
What types of things
Um,
are? What type of projects are they doing when they come when they join this program? What skills or
yes,
what things are they able to do to
sure.
develop income?
Yeah, sure. We have different modalities. So we have people who don't have any skills at all. So we enroll them in vocational trainings, so they can gain the skill, qualified to join a profession. That's tailoring, sewing, beauty service, food processing, and maybe photography, and some other elements. And we are currently now considering in one of the IRUSA is also to pilot the coding as well.
Coding.
Mobile Android installah. Yes, coding,
Wow.
inshallah. So that will be our first pilot in that area. So people who can do work remotely, and so we have to shift into more innovative approaches, inshallah. So once they
And I guess
gain the
that gives
skills,
even more. I mean, a job like coding. I mean, as far as like the amount of funds they're able to provide for their families, or
yeah,
the job level even goes up for them in the income. So that's amazing. I'm
inshallah,
looking
inshallah.
forward to seeing. Is that like in process, or is that or I mean, I'm looking forward to see that because I really want to be involved with something like that.
Inshallah, we are working towards that, but of course we have to go for let's say multi-stage governmental approval for any projects. So basically, this is part of one of IRUSA funded projects, but it goes has to go through the multi-layer, as I said, to
Yes.
governmental approval. But as I said, this is the first element. So the second element is there are a lot of people who have the profession but they don't have the other, employability skills in terms of, let's say, professional development skills.
Yeah.
Others may lack the entrepreneurship skills like the financial, the feasibility study, the costing, the break-even calculations for their projects. So that would be the second element. So we provide them with entrepreneurship skills, with curriculum, with qualified service providers.
Well, so they have so they may have a business or a thing that they have already. So they're
Yes.
now getting help to shore up the skills so they can be
Yes.
more successful. And okay,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
amazing.
In one of our projects that was concluded, I think the last couple of months, we've been targeting female-headed households. So they had the opportunity. They have existing projects, but they have also enjoyed the support from Islamic Relief Jordan office. They joined the entrepreneurship skills and business development skills courses, and then they received the financial support, as I told you, with a certain amount, so they expand their existing projects. We have a
Amazing.
very helpful, alhamdulillah, the very
Alhamdulillah.
helpful success stories. People actually, I recall one of the ladies. She managed to create additional, I think it was 3 to 4 jobs for support in her project. Thanks,
Nice.
alhamdulillah, for the expansion. So you have a mixture between different modalities, different interventions, alhamdulillah. So that's another area that we focus on. And to be frank, we have, as I said, we have the health component, we have the livelihoods component, but also we have other support in other areas. For instance, IRUSC support us in schools, learning environments, schools rehabilitation in Al Mafraq, schools that host both Jordanians as well as Syrians, alhamdulillah. And when I say that third of the population are refugees, you can imagine the burden on the infrastructure and the health as well as the educational ones.
Right.
And by the way, we are classified as a young community, so more than 1 million plus are actually
Beautiful.
school-age children.
Wow. Wow. That is. That's amazing. And when we talk about school rehabilitation, building classrooms and I guess like different
Yes, we do
different.
renovation. Yes, do renovations, installation of playgrounds, paintings and some fixing and renovations for the infrastructure itself. And in addition to other elements, for instance, in this project specifically, we had a training for the teachers. We had school bags, as part of the back to school campaign that we provided them with school bags and stationery, because that's also to alleviate the
Right.
pressure and the burden of the families. It's not a secret that some of the families, they don't send their kids because they cannot afford the uniform, or even
Right.
the stationery, and in many occasions even the cost of transport to the schools. Yep.
Subhanallah. That's amazing. And those who are tuning in just right now, if you're just getting on board, thank you for checking us out. I know you're on either Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and other places, inshallah. This is the Water Relief live stream, and we're talking to Brother Osama from the Jordan office, telling us about the amazing type of projects that you guys as donors and supporters have been funding for quite some time now. And in particular, we were talking about projects that are supporting the Syrian refugee population in Jordan. And I'm so well impressed with the work that you guys are doing. Now, as we get closer to the close of this, Ramadan is around the corner, or
Yes.
Ramadan's here. And if you're in this work, Ramadan's here. It's
Yes.
like we're
It's already here.
preparing. Exactly, it's already here for us. How are the Ramadan? What is it? How are the Ramadan plans going for you guys? And what the people that we support? What do they expect to get from Islamic Relief Jordan?
Yes, thank you for your query and the kind question. Actually, since we are in the heat of Ramadan preparations, this year, alhamdulillah, we will be targeting around 11,500 families with the food Ramadan parcels, inshallah. So currently, we are in the process, in the prioritization on the targeting process across the country. So we'll be distributing in the north, in the south, in the center. We will be distributing for different local parties on the ground, through local community-based organization in our country offices, with the literally all of IRJ staff will be involved,
Right.
regardless of their positions. You would find the doctors, you find our engineers, you find our teachers, our psychosocial support specialist and her team, myself. and literally everyone will be involved in Alhamdulillah.
Amazing.
The process, Alhamdulillah. So the process will be usually that we will start the distribution of Ramadan parcels the last couple of days before the Ramadan, the holy
Hmm.
month of Ramadan, and we'll continue for the first week of Ramadan.
That makes sense.
So that we have the essence of Ramadan before the last couple of days, and the next couple of days, inshallah, so that everyone will be involved. You have barakah, inshallah, and the blessing in the holy month of Ramadan.
You
It's not a
mentioned earlier,
secret.
but you
Sorry.
mentioned early the one thing, and please continue in a second. But you mentioned earlier about inflation and prices. Did it
Yes.
make it difficult for you guys to purchase for Ramadan stuff, or were you
Yes.
affected
Yes.
in that way?
Yes, definitely. I'll just give you one real example. So, one bag of sugar with 10 kilos, the amount jumped like almost 30% up to 40% of its price. The cooking oil is significantly affected by all of what is happening or globally. Ukraine war, the
Yeah,
the
yeah.
the, the shipping prices, etc. So that actually affects. So the food parcels, if it like currently our food parcels, alhamdulillah, we have with a lot of thanks to our colleagues in the seasonal program as well, and for our IR partners. So the food parcels goes up to the 33 GOD. So a lot of assistance, alhamdulillah, is provided. But
Alhamdulillah.
when it comes to the prices inflation, it affects the amounts, the cost, the shipments and all of that. So it does affect the total package itself, the type of items. Inshallah, it will not hinder the quality, but at least in general speaking, it costs us more to secure
To make
the
this.
the amounts. Alhamdulillah.
SubhanAllah. And we tell people that too, just because there years ago people are looking at one price and they're seeing the price change. If you're seeing price changes, and that's what we tell people, people in the West and other places, you're seeing the price change in your house. Imagine in the places that we people that we serve, they're even feeling it even more. So don't be surprised if the prices for these things when we say to donate it is increased because we are trying to make sure that these families have. I mean, it may be a slight difficulty for you to go to the grocery store and pay a little bit more for rice or whatever, but this is going to have massive impacts on the families we serve. So,
Yeah,
alhamdulillah.
yes, brother, that's very, very, very true. And it's not a secret that Jordan is one of the most, I mean, actually, it's the most expensive Arab country in the Arab world, and that's actually puts a lot of heavy burden, financially heavy burden on the families. Both the refugees community, that specifically for the Syrian, as well as the Palestinian refugees in Jordan, as well as the host community. Yeah, and generally speaking, when you have the inflation of prices, you have the lack of access to or more and more actually lack of access to economic and income generating opportunities. That's another issue, and it's not a secret that the COVID-19 impact was
Hmm.
really actually exacerbated the impact. Just give you some figures. Last year, we have lost more than 160,000 jobs in Jordan, more than 20 to 25 thousand companies closed down in the country. So a heavy impact on daily lives is there. More people are actually lack the access or cannot even afford to pay their rent, the electricity bill. Even in the last couple of weeks, we have heard that the government will increase more the fuel prices as well, the what they call the electricity bill prices. So you can imagine less people are capable to cover address their basic needs as well as provide their families with decent life and better quality of life. That I think here we come the importance of and the beautiful, let's say, the added value of IRG interventions supported by other colleagues and partners, brothers and sisters in the IR partner offices and the USAN specific. So you can imagine the impact of these interventions on the daily lives. I have seen in the last 3 days, I've been visiting several locations in Jordan. Some of them in Gaza camp, for instance. I've seen people houses with no roofs, with kids with literally with walking barefoot on the ground. You can imagine we have -2
Yes,
in the last
Celsius.
days, the
Yeah.
degree in Jordan. It has we had very harsh weather, but also you can see the people suffering, lack of heating alternatives or adequate, let's say, respectful alternatives for shelter, and even access to food in some for some of the families. So people sometimes, it's not a secret that when you provide the assistance, alhamdulillah, we feel the misery of our brothers and sisters who are underprivileged, but also alhamdulillah, yani, we are in the let's say the joy to provide that service to them, alhamdulillah, with all the support we received so far, alhamdulillah.
Well, thank you again for giving us such a great rundown on the programming that you guys are doing in Jordan. That Islamic Relief and its other partner offices around the world are doing. If you have any parting words for for our teams here, especially you talked about the great difficulty. We know Ramadan is around the corner. Or we say like it's here. This is the time that people are going to be the most generous, inshallah. Looking for ways to increase the khair and barakah that they can be involved in. Do you have any last thoughts for them to get them geared up and ready for the month of Ramadan?
Inshallah, I would ask everyone kindly and cordially that to gear up for Ramadan, for the blessing, for the barakah, for assist more of your brothers and sisters in the country, in Jordan and any other place. Remember the refugees, remember the people who cannot or may not enjoy access to even one meal, or even enough food in their houses in the month of Ramadan. Thank you for your support. Just bear in mind your brothers and sisters in this region and in Jordan specifically.
Thank you, brother Osama Al Fasfus. I think I said it
Yes,
okay this
yes,
time.
that's it.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you for being with us. We keep you and your staff and all the members of and volunteers and the Jordan office in our dua, that Allah makes them, it puts barakah in their work. That this is counted in some of the most blessed days for them. That the things that they're doing, that He increases them in everything that needs increasing, so that they can continue to support those families there and to have very beautiful, amazing outcomes. I'm looking forward to hear more about the coding program, really, because that's something near and dear to me, to be able to give those high skill levels to these families, so they can really break the cycle of poverty. Thank you again, and inshallah, we'll talk to you again soon, inshallah. Take care.
Inshallah, inshallah. Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Thank you. Assalamu
Be
alaikum.
safe. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you guys for checking us out again. We were just with our Islamic Relief Jordan office as they prepare for Ramadan, continue to support our brothers and sisters, refugees from Syria, and continue the blessed work. Please stay tuned throughout the month of Ramadan. We'll be bringing you more stories of offices around the world that Islamic Relief is doing this great work. Again, take care. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.